Today I want to talk about the iPhone 17 Pro and the telephoto lens. Ever since I got this new iPhone, I've been shooting RAW 48 megapixels because I want more flexibility when I'm editing my photos, and I also want to use the phone to its full potential. One of the downsides of shooting RAW is that the files are huge. So a workaround that I found is I created a shortcut in the Shortcuts app that converts the RAW files to high efficiency. So I do this after I edit my photo, then I convert the file, then I delete the RAW photo. After converting the photos, sometimes it would go from like around 20 megabytes to down to 2 or 3 megabytes, sometimes under 1 megabyte. And by me checking the file size, I started to notice that even though I was on 4x zoom telephoto at 48 megapixels, sometimes the camera or the phone will switch back to the main lens and take the picture at 12 megapixels. So when this happens, the phone is not using the zoom, it's just cropping into the main camera and taking the picture at 12 megapixels. So even if you have it on 4x zoom, sometimes it will still switch to the main camera, even though you have it on 4x. So this is what I'm talking about. Look, right now I'm on 1x, and if I go to 4x, it'll use a telephoto lens. But once I start getting closer, it switched right there. You saw it switched. So if I cover the main lens, you see, that's the main lens. So what I have to do to go back to the telephoto lens, I have to back up. There it goes. That's the telephoto lens. If I get closer again, it switches back to the main lens. So the minimum focal distance is about, I would say, 3 to 4 feet. Telephoto 48 megapixels at 16 megabytes. So now if I go back to 4x, right there, that's the main lens. Watch, main camera 12 megapixels, 16.6 megabytes. So that's what I'm talking about. Apple doesn't, there's nothing on the screen that tells you when it's switching cameras, switching lenses. And that's what I don't like. This is a Pro phone. It should notify you when it's switching cameras. What Apple is not telling you is that they're using an algorithm to decide which camera they think will give you the better picture quality, even if you don't want to use that lens. Another thing that Apple doesn't tell you about is that this camera has a certain MFD, minimum focal distance, meaning that if you're too close to something you want to take a picture of, that camera won't activate because you're too close, so you would need to back up. But Apple doesn't tell you about that on the website or on the spec sheet. All camera lenses have this, but again, Apple is not telling you what it is. But it does tell you when you're using a different, when you're using the macro lens, it'll show you a little yellow flower that you're on macro. So I think that they're able to do that with the telephoto lens. They just don't want to, for some reason. For most, this might not be a big problem because most just want to press the shutter button and get a good, nice looking picture. But this is a Pro phone, and you should be able to use Pro features. Like, it should be able to tell you which camera you're using, and you should be able to select which camera you want to use and use that camera. So for now, I won't be using the main camera anymore. What I'm going to be using now, it's the ProCam app that I found in the App Store. that app forces you, well, that app forces the phone to use whichever camera you want. If you want to use the main camera, telephoto lens, or even that 8x, it'll use that camera no matter what. And if you want to shoot in 48 megapixels raw, it'll do that too. So I think that's gonna be the workaround for now. So you guys should check out that app and let me know what you guys think. I've also noticed that even if you're in perfect lighting conditions, you're at the perfect minimum focal distance, it would still use the main lens here and there. I don't know why, but it still does it. So for me, in order to avoid that, I'm just gonna be using the Pro Cam. Hopefully Apple fixes this problem, or whatever you want to call it. It might not be a big deal, but for me it is. I want to be able to tell which camera I'm using.